I spent my entire life pointing to one simple paradox, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. The more desperately you try to control your life, the more out of control you feel. I see it everywhere I look. I see it in your faces when I give these lectures. That tightness around the eyes when I mention something that hits too close to home. The sleepless nights you're having running through tomorrow's scenarios. This exhausting mental chess game where you're trying to predict every move, manage every outcome, secure every possible future. And I'm here to tell you something that might disturb you at first. Control is the most elaborate illusion you've ever constructed. Now, I don't say this because control is immoral or wrong. I say it because it's fundamentally impossible. It's like trying to grasp water or pin down the wind. The very act of grasping destroys what you're reaching for. Let me ask you something. Right now, in this very moment, you're sitting on a planet spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, hurtling through space at 67,000 miles per hour. Your heart is beating without asking your permission. Your cells are dying and being reborn by the billions. Your thoughts are arising from depths you don't understand and certainly can't command. And yet you wake up each morning convinced that you should be in charge of it all. Isn't that fascinating? For decades now, I've been pointing to a single radical truth, and here it is. The one who wants control doesn't actually exist, at least not in the way you think it does. Let me put it to you this way. You are not a puppet in the world. You are a happening of the world. The universe is not something you look at. It's something you look out of. Do you see what I'm saying? You're not controlling life. Caroline. Happening that, my goodness, have we been conditioned to believe? From the time you were a child, you were taught that you're a separate agent, a little commander in the control room of your head, pulling levers, making decisions, steering your destiny. You learn to think of yourself as a subject in a world of objects. I am here inside the skin. Everything else is out there, and my job is to manipulate out there to serve in here. Now, the ancient Upanishads called this Maya, and it's not exactly illusion in the way we think of magic tricks. It's more like a cosmic game of hide and seek. The universe pretending to be separate from itself, God playing human, consciousness forgetting what it is, so it can have the thrill of remembering. And control. Control is the central strategy of this separate self-eating. If you're truly alone in there, isolated, vulnerable, then you must control what's out there. You think it's a matter of survival. But here's where it gets really interesting, and I want you to follow me closely here. The one trying to control is itself being controlled. Think about it. Your thoughts arise unbidden, don't they? Your desires come from depths you didn't choose. Even your decision to take control of your life wasn't actually a decision you controlled. It emerged from causes and conditions beyond your choosing. This is what the Zen masters mean when they say, "Show me the one who is trying." I've asked this of students for years. When you look for the controller, really look, what do you find? Sensations, impulses, memories. But no central command center, little king on a throne. Just experience happening. Now you might say, well, Alan, knowing this intellectually doesn't stop the grasping, does it? And you're absolutely right. It doesn't. You cling to control because you're terrified. And you're terrified because you've misidentified yourself as a thing, a bounded, separate, inherently insecure thing that can be damaged, destroyed, annihilated. I often draw from the Tao Te Ching for this. That beautiful text that says, when you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. But when you don't realize where you come from, when we think you're just this temporary, accidental collection of molecules that emerged from nothing and will return to nothing, you're going to try to control everything. You're playing a high-stakes game with a deadline. You see, this is where I find the Western existentialists actually meet us Eastern mystics. Sartre said, we're condemned to be free, thrown into existence, forced to create meaning in a meaningless universe. And so you grasp, you build, you achieve. You try to leave your mark to matter, to prove you existed. But I keep saying you're asking the wrong question. It's not how do I, a separate thing, control my circumstances. It's what am I really? There's an old Zen story I often share about a monk who came to Master Bankei completely distressed. An uncontrollable temper. It ruins my relationships. I've tried everything to manage it, but it keeps arising, keeps arising. How can I get rid of this terrible part of me? Now Bankei looked at him with those penetrating eyes Zen masters have. I've seen that look myself many times. This temper, he said. It sounds fascinating. Show it to me right now. The monk was confused. I can't show it to you right now. It only comes when someone provokes me. Ah, said Bankei, so you don't have it with you at the moment. Tell me, when did your parents give it to you? Did you bring it from your mother's womb? No, master. It arises when things happen. Then Bankei said softly, it's not yours, is it? It doesn't belong to your true nature. When you think someone insults you, you create this temper yourself. You're bothered because you choose to be bothered. You're showing me that you received your nature from your parents. But this temper wasn't included in the package. So obviously it's something you create yourself in response to circumstances. Can you imagine the recognition slowly dawning on this monk's face? Bankei continued. If you create it, you can simply not create it. But you see, you're trying to control something you think you have when really you're doing it. You're the one making it moment by moment. Stop making it, and where will it? Now, I love this story because it illustrates what I'm always pointing at. You're not trying to control things. You have thoughts, emotions, circumstances. You're creating the sense of having them moment by moment and then exhausting yourself trying to control your own creations. It's like being an actor who's forgotten their acting. You're on stage, fully immersed in the role, terrified by the stage villain, trying desperately to control the outcome of the play. But the script is already written. The theater isn't even real. And the real you're perfectly safe in the audience watching yourself act. Except, and here's the twist, there is no audience, there's just the play playing itself. Consciousness experiencing itself through billions of temporary forms, each one convinced it's separate, each one trying to control a game that's rigging itself. What do you do with this understanding? That's what everyone asks me. Well, I wrote a whole book about this called The Wisdom of Insecurity, and I still think it's one of the most radical things I've ever put down on paper. The wisdom of insecurity says this: security is a myth. Permanence is impossible. And the attempt to achieve them is the root of all psychological suffering. You cannot make yourself safe. You cannot guarantee tomorrow. You cannot protect yourself from loss, from change, from death. Every moment you spend trying is a moment spent at war with reality itself. And here's what I really want you to hear. You don't need, because what you actually are, not the role you're playing, but what's playing the role, cannot be threatened. It was never born, so it cannot die. It's not a thing, so it cannot break. It's the space in which all things appear and disappear, the awareness that watches the whole show. I love how the Bhagavad Gita puts it. Weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it. It is eternal, all-pervading, unchanging, immovable. It is the same forever. But you won't discover this through belief, I'm afraid. Now, not letting go is a technique. That's just more control dressed up in spiritual clothing. But letting go is a recognition, seeing that you're already being lived. Your breath breathes itself, your heart beats itself, your life lives itself. I often ask people, when you were born, did you instruct your body how to grow? Did you sit down with a manual explaining how to metabolize food, how to grow hair, how to think thoughts? Of course you didn't. It happened spontaneously, intelligently, perfectly, without you being in charge. So why on earth do you assume you need to take over now? Now here's where people always get confused, and I want to clear this up. They think I'm telling them to become passive, irresponsible, just lie in bed saying, whatever happens, happens. That's not what I'm saying at all. Letting go of control doesn't mean you stop acting. It means you stop resisting the action that wants to happen through you. The Taoists have this beautiful concept called Wu Wei, usually translated as non-doing or effortless action. But it doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting in harmony with the way things are naturally moving, like a surfer who doesn't make the wave but rides it, like a jazz musician who doesn't force the music but follows where it wants to go. You still make decisions. You still show up. You still participate fully in life. But you're no longer convinced that this separate controlling self, is the author of it all. Instead, you become curious. What wants to happen here? What's the situation asking for? What's my role in this stuff? You stop trying to impose your agenda on reality and start listening to what reality is already expressing through you. This is what my friend Meister Eckhart meant when he said, "The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me." There's no separation. You see, you're not controlling life from outside it. Your life's way of experiencing itself. And here's the beautiful paradox I've observed again and again. Not because you got better, but because you stopped interfering with the intelligence that's been running things all along. Your body knows how to heal itself better than your anxious mind does. Your intuition knows what you need better than your endless. The universe knows how to evolve itself better than your attempts to micromanage. So how do you actually do this? How do you let go? Everyone wants the technique. Well, first understand you can't let go. There's no technique for non-technique. But you can notice when you're gripping, and in that noticing, the grip sometimes loosens on its own. Here's what I suggest. Notice the tension. When you're trying to control something, a conversation, a relationship, your future, your image, there's a physical sensation, tightness in the chest. Clenched jaw, shallow breathing. Start there. Feel it. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I let go? Usually it's something like, I'll fail, I'll be rejected, I'll be exposed, I'll lose everything. Step back one level. Notice the awareness in which the fear appears. That awareness isn't afraid, is it? Spacious, calm. It's been watching every emotion, every thought, every drama of your life with perfect equanimity. Rest there, not as a technique, but as a recognition. You're not the thoughts trying to control. You're what's aware of those thoughts. Rumi said it perfectly, and I quote him often. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. When you recognize yourself as the ocean, you stop worrying about the waves. I've spent my whole life trying to tell you that you've been trying to control your life because you thought you were separate from it. A small, fragile thing in a dangerous world. But what if you're not? What if this moment, with all its uncertainty, its uncontrollability, its wild spontaneity, is not something happening to you, but as you? What if letting go isn't giving up, but waking up? The Zen teachers have this wonderful phrase, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Same action, same life, with no one gripping, no one resisting, just life living itself. Perfectly, exactly as it is. And you are never in control. But here's what I really want you to understand. You are also never in danger. Because you're not what you think you are. You're what's looking. You're what's aware. You're the space in which all of this, the trying, the fear, the hope, the whole beautiful mess is appearing. And that cannot be controlled. Because that is what's doing the controlling. So relax. You're home. You've always been home.